Welcome to my channel. In today's session, we'll discuss about getting started with Python. It means as a beginner how to start with Python or what are the basic things that are required in order to getting started with Python. So let's start our discussion. So today's discussion content it is, first we'll discuss about the introduction, then what are the different Python pluses and Python some minuses, computational thinking, and next it is working in Python. So one by one we'll discuss. First we'll discuss about the introduction. So Python programming language, it was developed by Guido van Rossum in the month of February 1991. Python is based on or influenced with two programming languages, that is ABC language, a teaching language created as a replacement of BASIC and Modula 3. It is easy to learn yet powerful object-oriented programming language. It is easy to learn but yet it is powerful object-oriented programming language. Next we'll see some Python pluses. It means advantages of using Python. So the first point it says that easy to use. It means Python is compact and very easy to use object-oriented language with very simple syntax rules. It is a very high level language and thus very programmer friendly. So in terms of the programmer you can easily do it. Next it is expressive language. Expressive in terms of it means it is more capable to expressing the code's purpose than many other languages. What is the reason behind it? That is why we are saying that Python it is an expressive language, because in fewer lines of code and simpler syntax. This is why it is called as the expressive language. If a programming language will have more lines of codes and the syntax of writing the programming it is very difficult, then it is also from the user side it will also very much difficult to write the program. But in Python it is not like that. Few lines of codes are there and also simpler syntax. Then it is an interpreted language. It means Python is an interpreted language, not a compiled language. This means that the Python installation interprets and executes the code line by line at a time. It makes Python an easy to debug language and thus suitable for beginners to advanced users. Next it is its completeness. When you install Python, you get everything you need to do real work. Okay, you do not need to download and install additional libraries. All types of required functionality is available through various modules of Python standard library. So whenever you will install the Python, whatever the necessary things that are associated in order to make it functional, it is associated with that installation only. So you are not supposed to download or install any additional libraries to use it. Next it is cross-platform language. Python can run equally well on variety of platforms like Windows, Linux or Unix, Macintosh, smartphones, supercomputers, etc. Free and open source. Next it is Python language is freely available, that is without any cost. You can easily download it. And not only is it free, it is free, its source code is also available. That is, it is open source also. Next it is variety of uses or applications. So Python has evolved into a powerful, complete and useful language over these years. So Python is being used in many diverse fields or applications like scripting, web application, game development, database applications and so many. This is what is called are the advantages of the Python. so that we will go for the Python language. Next, Python some minuses. It means if it is having advantages, yes, it is also having some disadvantages. So what are they? Lesser libraries than C, Java and Perl. So whatever the library it is there in the Python, so if you compare with this programming languages, yes, it is bit lesser. Not strong on type binding. It means Python interpreter is not very strong on catching type mistake issues. For example, if you declare a variable as integer, but later you are storing a string value to it, so Python won't compile or pinpoint it. Next, not easily convertible. Okay, Python is an easy language to program in, but this easy language advantage has a other side also. It means it becomes a disadvantage when it comes to translating a program into other programming language. This is because most other languages have structured defined syntax. Okay. Next, we'll see the computational thinking. The computational thinking, it means it refers to the collective thought processes evolved in formulating problems and solutions so that they are represented in a form that can be effectively carried out by a computer. It means as the computer is a man-made machine, whatever the input the user will feed, it can only operate on it. So it is the duty of the user, whatever the input they are feeding, so it should be in a organized manner or in a systematic manner so that the computer can easily carry out the task. Next, one more thing, and computational thinking and techniques. Then what do you mean by technique? Technique in order to solve a problem. What are the different techniques a user will follow in order to make his work done or make her work done? First, whenever any problem it is there, so the technique of solving a problem, it is understanding the problem well. First, you have to understand the problem. What is the problem? Then after, analyze the program. Okay. Then what? Analyze about it or analyze the program in order to find out the different solution. Next, code the program. Once you analyzed it, you have to go for the coding part. After coding, test and debug the program to find out if there any error it is. Next, we'll go for the algorithm. Algorithm, it is nothing but the set of instructions written down to formulate the solution of a problem. Okay, and these instructions, when followed to write the code produces the desired output. So before you go for writing the actual code, it is the best practice to formulate the algorithm. Once you will write the algorithm, it means according to the algorithm you will approach for the code so that it will give you the desired output. Let me give you an example of the algorithm. Suppose let's take an example of preparing the early morning tea and write an algorithm for the same. So step by step, what are the tasks it is required, you need to write down step by step. Then after, if it is clear, then easily you can execute it. This is what is called as the algorithm. Then flowchart. Flowcharts are diagrammatic representation of the algorithm. If whatever the steps that you have written, if you will keep it in a diagrammatic form, then it is nothing but it is called as the flowchart. It uses some symbols to illustrate the starting and ending of the program along with the flow of instructions evolved in the program. So various symbols are used in case of the flowchart in order to show that what is the flow of execution of the program. See, these are the different symbols used in the flowchart. First, this oval like symbol, it represents start and end. Next, this arrow mark, it is used as the connector. Then for the input and output, you will use this symbol, and this rectangular box, it is used for the process, and if there is any decision making it is there, you have to use this symbol. So these are the different symbols used in the flowchart. So this is an example of the flowchart of sum of two numbers. So as I told you, the start and the stop, it will be represented by the oval. Here you check. Input and output, it will be displayed with this symbol. See, input means reading of the number, output means printing of the result. Clear? Then next it is calculation part, it will be represented by a rectangle. If there is any decision making, it is there. It means if you want to check A is greater than B or not. So in case it is called as the decision making. So in that case what you will use? You will use this symbol. Okay, here you will write A greater than B. So if it is yes, it will go in this direction, and if it is no, it will go in this direction. Okay, this is called as the decision making box in case of the flowchart. Next, it is pseudocode. It is another way of representing an algorithm. The first way of representing the algorithm, it is the flowchart, and pseudocode, it is also the another way of representing an algorithm. It is considered as a non-formal language that helps programmers to write algorithm. So it is a non-formal way of writing the language that help the programmer to write the algorithm. But it is another way of representing an algorithm. So this is an example of the pseudocode of the same example, sum of two numbers. It means it will write informally, input the number 1, input the number 2, compute the result equals to num1 and num2, print the result. Okay, it is another form of representing the algorithm. Next we will start with working in Python. So let me tell you the default installation available from www.python.org is called C Python installation and comes with Python interpreter, Python IDLE and package installer. Everything it will be there within it. You can download it from python.org. Next we will see working in interactive mode, that is Python IDLE, and also working in script mode, that is IDLE also. So one by one we will see. So first we will start with the interactive mode. Here we will see how to work in Python interactive mode. So in order to work on it, you will go to the start button, all programs or wherever your program will be, then we will start with this one. Okay, Python IDLE. So it will come in front of this window, or minimize also. You can write anything over here, any simple statement. Suppose I want to calculate the value of 5 plus 9, or I will assign anything. Suppose A equals to 9. So I will print the value of A. Print A. So it will be displayed over here 7. See. So suppose I want to 9 plus 9. So any simple statement you want to add, or you want to print or multiply, anything you can do it. This is what it is called as the interactive mode. So in order to work in the script mode, you have to go to this file, new file. Then this particular window will come in front of you. Here you can write your program, or you type your program. You can run your program in order to see the output. Suppose a simple, I want to print my name. So I will write print. It is the syntax, start the bracket, double quotes. I will write my name, suppose Rosalini. Okay, so then after I will save it. I will save. So here the location, it is desktop. So any name, suppose any name you will give, but you have to give the extension .py. So it will be saved in the desktop. Then after you will see here the file it is created. Then you will go to the run module. See here the output it is displayed. See. Suppose without using the run module also you can execute run the program. Suppose I will write print high. So instead of writing or instead of going to this run module, you can directly run the program by pressing the key, that is F5. Okay, it will ask for to save it. So after saving, you see the same thing, it has been displayed. One is using by going to the run option and running the module. Next is also the same thing, you can do it by pressing the F5 key. Thank you.